Notice what your brain is telling you versus what your body is telling you. And notice that when your brain is telling you something so confidently, notice whether you actually feel that way. Like, play around with the idea of, like, do I actually feel this way? Or do I actually feel the complete opposite? And, like, deep down, do I know that the complete opposite is true? I have noticed such an interesting pattern playing out in my life. I noticed that when I really thought something was going to happen, when I really expected something to happen or expected a specific thing to happen, it never happened. Like, whenever I was, like, for example, getting a job, any job that I really expected I was going to get, never got. Whereas any job that I didn't expect and I was a bit unsure and a bit uncertain, I got offered. And this to me is so interesting because it's always the times when I'm in the headspace of this is literally definitely gonna happen. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that this is gonna happen. It never fucking happens. Like, never, 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 ever has something I've been sure of happened. And how fucking interesting is that? It's always, always, always the times when I'm questioning something or I'm worried about something or I'm not 100% sure, that's when I get the thing I really want. If something really made sense to me, and if in my body I was if I felt confident about something and confident that something was going to happen and that something was going to play out a certain way, I started to learn that the second I start feeling that way, that's not what's going to happen. And the second I question something, I'll feel worried about it, but deep down I'll know it's going to happen because I'm questioning it. And that is just so fucking interesting to me. So I started to play around with the fact of, okay, if I know that this is how things are going, I 100% know that this is what plays out in my life and I know it happens every time. Maybe if there's something I'm confident in, I can try and make myself not feel confident in it, and that will influence the outcome. I started to play around with the idea that if I felt like I wanted something, don't be confident about it. Don't expect it. Not even make myself worry about it, but like create this level of detachment from it. Create this level of like, I don't care. I'm good either way. Like, but not in like a fake way, in like a genuine, like, I got myself to this place of peace about this thing. Anything I initially thought, like, this is definitely going to work out this way and this is definitely going to happen the way I think it's going to, I would put myself in this neutral state of like, okay, but if it doesn't, that's fine. And it was a genuine neutral state. Like, it was not fake. It was a genuine, like, I'm good either way and it's okay. Rather than, I definitely think this is going to happen. I'm good either way and it's fine. And I noticed that even that didn't make a difference. Even being in that neutral state did not change the final result, did not change the circumstances. It wasn't even a case of like creating that energy of detachment, because even if I was creating this energy of detachment and getting myself into a headspace where I was like, I'm good either way, it still wasn't happening. So it wasn't even about that. When I really started to question this, I really started to like try and figure out what the hell was going on and the main time I like really noticed this happening was when I was trying to get tickets to Futura, which is Teeny's current tour, and she'd announced Spain dates, and it was the morning Spain dates were gonna come out, and like obviously it's Latin American music, it's all in Spanish. She's not coming to the UK. She's like, that's not gonna happen. I keep trying to manifest it, but it's not gonna happen. So my entire being was riding on going to Spain. I had to be at this show. So I noticed, I knew what tickets I wanted. I knew like what I just knew exactly what I wanted the outcome to be. And I was anxious about it non-fucking stop. 4 days before the tickets went on sale, they announced the date. For those whole 4 days, I was anxious about everything, about how quickly it was going to sell out, about being disappointed, about money, travel, my life circumstances. Like, I was anxious about every possible thing you can think of in relation to me getting these tickets. Also, this is such a first world thing, and I know it's such a first world thing, but like, this is just something that's really important to me, and I just really need to be there, okay? We all have bad things. This is one of my things. Next morning, I wake up, constant anxiety all the way up until the pre-sale was at 12 p.m. in the UK. So 12 p.m, I was ready at the house. I was so anxious. I'd been stressed about it all morning. The heating and hot water in the house had broken, so we had a man coming to fix that. I was stressed about that. He came right before the tickets went on sale. I was so stressed. There was so much going on all at once, and I just needed to lock in and get these tickets. Also, like, obviously, for context as well, like, these are the only other European dates she's announced so far. Like, so far it's only been Latin American dates. So everyone in Europe, she has a large fan base, okay? Everyone in Europe is trying to get these tickets. And I knew that, and that was stressing me out. So the time comes, I sit down, easiest fucking ticket experience I've ever had in my life. Got the tickets I wanted within literally like 5 minutes. I'm not kidding. But like, keep in mind, I went to Lady Gaga last year, spent like 2 to 3 hours trying to get those tickets. Sabrina Carpenter, her emails I can't send to took me about 4 hours. I'm not kidding. Like, concert culture right now is crazy. I do not support it, but I am, unfortunately, a contribution. I could not believe it. Easiest ticket experience I've ever had. Like, I've never experienced ticket buying like that ever before in my life. And I thought, that's so fucking interesting, because I was so unsure and unconfident, but it worked out beyond perfectly. Whereas I've had times in recent months where I felt so sure about something and so confident that something was going to go perfectly, and it did not. And so, my friends, this is the conclusion that I have come to. I believe that the reason I feel so confident and so sure about something, when I hear that voice, when I feel that feeling, that is not my inner guidance system. That is my ego. And that is my ego being attached to the end result of something. Whereas when I feel a bit nervous about something, it's because the voice in me that knows it's going to be okay is my intuition, and it is softer and it is quieter. It is not screaming. It is softer and it is quieter, and it is a much deeper, calmer inner knowing. Therefore, when I feel unsure about something, it's because my inner voice is speaking quietly and my anxiety is speaking loudly. Whereas when I feel very confident and sure about something, it's because my ego is screaming and my inner voice that knows that perhaps that is not the best thing for me is much quieter. Your intuition is always quieter. Your intuition is always the quiet voice. Your intuition is never the loud screaming voice. The loud screaming voice is your ego/anxiety. My gorgeous, gorgeous people, I would like to very briefly interrupt this episode to remind you that you can like, subscribe, rate, review, follow, share, all of the things, this podcast. And that way we can help to grow this beautiful community and reach so many more like-minded beings who maybe want to overthink with us, maybe want to chill and kiki with us. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. And back to today's episode. It's really made me realize that when I feel so sure and so confident about something, it's not meant for me. Because it's my ego that is screaming and like just being the loudest voice. It's my ego that is attaching itself to the outcome of this thing. And I therefore know that when I feel attached to it and really want to make myself feel good about it, really want to like feel confident about it and really hold on to the expectation of that thing happening, it's almost like a safety blanket for my ego. And it's almost this like, it's my ego being attached to what it thinks is the best possible outcome and what it thinks is the safest possible outcome. and the most logical possible outcome. Whereas that quieter uncertainty is my inner voice knowing that it's my alignment. When I feel that uncertainty, I know it's because my inner voice knows that what I'm about to do, what's going to happen is in alignment, but my ego is speaking louder with anxiety. Does this make sense? I don't really know how else to explain this, but like this is what's so interesting is it's not like an underlying like quiet confidence, which I think is true confidence and is intuitive confidence and is like genuine inner strength, inner power, inner confidence. It's like this mental confidence that's like, this is definitely going to work out for me. This is definitely going to work out for me. Like, I'm the best. I'm this. Like, I know I'm going to get this. I know this is going to happen for me because I am this, da 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 da. And like, it's almost like my ego gets attached to the end result. And again, that's to me what shows me that that's not actually what's in alignment and not what I truly want. Because it's almost like my ego gets attached to the idea of something. So like, again, for example, looking for jobs, my ego gets attached to certain aspects of the job or how my life will look if I have this job, or like what people will think of me if I have this job, and like how this job looks almost from an outside perspective and like from an end result perspective. Whereas when I feel a bit more uncertain about something, it's almost like I'm uncertain because I'm not attached to the outcome of it. I'm uncertain because I'm like drawn to the process of it. I'm like drawn to the thing itself rather than my ego becoming obsessed with the outward circumstance of it, and rather than my ego becoming obsessed with the end result of it and how it looks and my expectations of it. It's like when something is truly meant for me and I know I'm supposed to follow it, and it is actually genuinely in alignment, my ego is screaming the anxieties louder than it is screaming its confidence. And I think it's a protection mechanism because I think, again, like as I talk about all the time, your subconscious wants to stay safe. Your brain cares more about you feeling emotionally safe and comfortable than anything else. Not even like logically, physically safe, just emotionally comfortable and safe where you are. And I therefore think that like when this happens, my brain is the over certainty and the overconfidence is a protection mechanism from me actually following what is genuinely good for my growth and alignment and what will actually change my life. It's like making me get attached to something that won't actually, that is just logically safe, that is just from an outward perspective safe, predictable, comfortable, and will not push me to do anything outside of my comfort zone, will not push me to try anything new, will not push me. It's getting attached to something that it thinks will be the safest option and it thinks will be the most comfortable option. Whereas when my inner guidance system and my intuition starts speaking up about something that I genuinely want deep down, that's when the anxiety is louder and the worry is louder because my brain wants to stop me from doing that. My brain is like worrying about it because it's like blocking that quieter voice. And the same with in the other way, like it's like the overconfidence is to block the inner voice that is actually telling me that that's not for me, because my brain doesn't want to listen to that because that's not what it's perceiving as the safest option, the most comfortable option, the most like logically safe option. Like my brain is always looking for the most logically safe option because it wants to be able to predict what's going to happen next, whereas that's not how intuition works. That's not how inner guidance works. I'm not going to be automatically drawn to something that is logically safer and makes more logical sense. I'm going to be drawn to something intuitively that is better for my growth and that is better for the bigger picture of my life and the bigger vision of my life. And I think this this voice inside me that either screams overconfidence or screams anxiety is my brain trying to distract me from listening to that inner guidance system, from listening to those intuitive hits and those intuitive feelings and that quiet inner voice to stop me from going after the thing that will actually genuinely change my life and will actually genuinely make me a better person and encourage my growth and expansion and take me outside of my comfort zone. It seems like such a counterintuitive process. But I think even when we think about like overconfidence in this way as well, like even I genuinely believe that when somebody is overconfident to the point where like they're putting other people down and they're overconfident to the point where it's like it's loud and it's in your face and it's like it's not a nice kind of confidence. Like it's not a stable, secure confidence. It's like an overcompensation for actually not being confident at all. And I think that speaks volumes about just the fact of like where your inner voice is sitting. Like your inner voice is obviously sitting in a place of insecurity, and like internally you obviously feel that level of insecurity, and so you're over projecting that confidence. And I feel like this is working in the same way where like deep down my inner voice doesn't want that to be a thing and like doesn't or like knows that I shouldn't be pursuing one specific thing. And so my ego is like overcompensating for the fact that it wants me to. It's like overcompensating for the fact that like deep down I know this thing isn't meant for me, so my ego's like overcompensating, trying to hype me up and go for it anyway. I don't know if that really makes sense. This is so difficult to explain, like me sitting here trying to record a podcast episode about it, like after just saying it's difficult to explain like why would you choose to talk about it then. But I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting. Being able to differentiate between the two voices in our heads is so fucking interesting. And the crazy thing is one of them's in our head and one of them's in our body, and that's what's so interesting. And like being able to understand like what is your ego screaming to try and get you out of something that is actually good for you, and what is your intuition genuinely guiding you to the right thing. And it is that like your intuition is always quiet. Your intuition will never scream more loudly than your ego. Like our initial reactions and our initial like loudest voice is most likely our ego, and it's the voice underneath that we need to listen to. And I think that is so interesting. It's almost like whatever our initial response is, the counter response to that is like what our actual inner guidance system is telling us, and what is actually best for us is. It's so interesting. It's like so counterintuitive, but I've been noticing this play out so much. And it does all go back to that idea of like you cannot just listen to the voice in your head, and you have to get into your body. You have to listen to what is going on. What's the underlying voice saying? When you sit with yourself, and this is why it's important to sit with ourselves and make time to sit with ourselves. For me, that's journaling and walking. But like, just any way that you make time to sit with yourself and let that quieter inner voice speak up, and not just let it be the racing thoughts that are going around in your head all the time. Because often our most conscious thoughts are just what we have on repeat. Our most conscious thoughts are generally just learned behaviors, and they're not actually thoughts that keep us in alignment with where we want to go. And it's so interesting and so important that we have to like always create time and space to not listen to that, to like create time and space to listen to the deeper, more inward, quieter, more subtle voice that's trying to speak up, that is just being clouded all the time by the fucking nonsense in our brains. It's so crazy how that plays out. It's so crazy that one is so significantly louder than the other, and it's always the fucking quiet one that is right. Like, that's wild. Anyway, I feel like that's all I had to say on this. I don't know if it will make any sense. Let me know if it does. Let me know if it doesn't. I just think it's interesting. And I encourage you to play with this. Like, notice what your brain is telling you versus what your body is telling you. And notice that when your brain is telling you something so confidently, notice whether you actually feel that way. Like, play around with the idea of like, do I actually feel this way, or do I actually feel the complete opposite? And like deep down, do I know that the complete opposite is true? Like, that is so interesting. I encourage us all to play with that because I am fascinated by that, and I feel like I've cracked something here. Call me crazy. I feel like I've really done something here. I don't know. I'm probably who knows. But thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, share, all of the things. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. And I will be back so soon.